The Amphibian Foundation formed in 2016, primarily to address amphibian declines in the southeastern United States, but also anywhere where amphibians are declining everywhere. But being located in the southeastern United States, we have a particular focus on the amphibians that are declining there. That's only half of our program. The other half is focused on educating primarily youth, trying to inspire the next generation of conservationists and people who are paying attention to our ecosystems and our wildlife and the things that are really disappearing quite rapidly. Oh God! Well, there are many documented declines, and they're hitting amphibians from so many different ways. Habitat loss is a primary concern. There's just not as much area for amphibians to be amphibians, and they're very sensitive, so they don't really play very well with development and contamination. So that's one aspect. Another major influence, negative influence on amphibians are invasive species. So we as humans are very good at moving species from one place to another. Here in the United States, cats are a major problem for amphibians, with hundreds of millions being killed every year. And invasive species might also be something like some of these pathogens, which are not native to a certain area where the amphibians have a resistance, but then humans most likely inadvertently move it to an area where the amphibians have no resistance. And there's been many instances of those populations of amphibians declining quite rapidly in response to fungal pathogens and viruses that wipe out whole populations. So I guess those are some of the main ones, but there are more. Well, there's a lot of global initiatives to stop the crisis, paying attention to some of these pathogens I just mentioned. Luckily, there's a huge partner base. We are focusing on, like I mentioned, these southeastern amphibians, and some of the times these are species that have, if you can imagine, have degraded to such a point where we're actually pulling animals from the wild to protect them from going extinct. These are species that are so close to going extinct that we feel like the only course of action we have left is to actually remove them from the wild and keep them healthy, try to make offspring, but basically just preventing the last handfuls of these from going extinct to the point where it could never be reversed. So there's lots of different ways that we work. That's one way where we build captive assurance and captive populations. We also work to restore habitat, and try to protect habitat as well for these species. Well, it was important for us to have a conservation program that also had a huge educational component. And as this program develops, we are able to fund ourselves through our educational programs. So it's developing into a really empowering model where we don't have to rely on government support or grants or anyone else's priorities. We're able to fund our conservation initiatives in-house. So we do that by providing really great, compelling, engaging educational programs. And the Master Herpetologist program is an excellent example of that. That's a program for adults. Most of our programs are for children, but this Master Herpetologist program has been really great. We launched it for the first time this semester as an online class. Previously, it was an in-person class, and opening it up to the online world, instructors from all around the world helping teach this class, and we have students from all around the world as well. And to my knowledge, there's no other class like this anywhere where that has so many instructors and so much diversity. And I really love the direction that it's heading. The first assignment for the students was to just plot on a map where your hometown is. And it was really great to see the spread of all the students coming from everywhere. It's meant a lot to me, and it makes me feel like we're developing a really powerful program. It's been challenging with the amount of students we've had. I wasn't expecting that many, and we didn't, because of coronavirus, we didn't want to cut it off, but as a result, we ended up having a lot more students than we had originally thought. So it's been really great. A lot of work interacting with everybody, but it's been very exciting too. Yeah, that's a great question. So we've had some experiences where we've seen our younger students trying to educate parents, and I will tell you that there's been slightly better luck with some of the amphibians, because our educational programs for kids often include reptiles as well. And it seems like adults, and this is probably no surprise to you, that adults are already pretty set in their beliefs and often very scared and unwilling to let go of that fear. And that's part of the reason why we really focus on kids who haven't developed that fear yet, and realize that these are animals that need to be respected, not feared. And then some of the species that the children want to share what they're learning with their parents. And it's interesting to see that dynamic where a lot of the parents are like, well, I don't really want to learn or know anything about those snakes, for example. But I think that it's doing a lot of good, and that parents can learn not to be afraid from their kids. And we can teach the kids how to handle an aggressive turtle, for example. And that's something that might terrify, but if they can see their child doing it without fear and with competence, a powerful teacher as well. Yeah, I think so. We have a real recent story that we can share, and our newest educational program is the one that really combines more than any our research and our education. And that's this bridge program that we started in January. It's the Conservation Research Bridge Program. And so what it involves is students either just graduating high school or just graduating college can come and spend 1 to 3 semesters with us for hands-on conservation research training. Very, very hands-on, very mentored. And so it's really helped in a lot of ways, because we're teaching we're giving people the skills they need to be conservation scientists. And it's also increasing our capacity to be out in the field monitoring the species that we're focused on. And just in the last couple of months, we've detected 4 populations of endangered species of amphibians that were previously unknown. And that is just a huge triumph in my mind, because we're able to really pay much closer attention to these species that need it and that deserve it. And then our new students are the ones making these discoveries. So it's very powerful. Well, I have prided myself in being able to get opportunities for anyone to contribute who would like to. So on our website, we have lots of ways that people can get involved from any. We have resources for how to make your yard or your area more amphibian friendly, for example. And we also have ways that amphibians are declining everywhere. There's nowhere that doesn't need extra attention paid on amphibians at this point. So anywhere in the world, there's ways to get involved, either monitoring your amphibians or starting a monitoring program, or making your yard a little bit more hospitable for amphibians. If you're helping the amphibians, you're helping all of wildlife. Amphibians are one of the most sensitive. So anything you can do to improve the habitat for them is going to work for all wildlife as well. So it's really great when people come and are interested in doing something. We have somewhere to direct these people, and some resources to show them that these are the things that anybody can do.